Hello, Spender94 here, bringing you another Pokemon battle against David. If the mic quality sounds a bit off, my mic is having a lot of trouble, so I'm probably going to buy a new one eventually. But anyway, we're leading off with this battle, and as of course, I hope you all had a happy Halloween, because I certainly did, hanging around with a bunch of friends and stuff like that. Anyway, so we're going to jump straight into this battle, and he's going to lead off with his Alakazam. So this Alakazam is going to, of course, Mega Evolve, and that is very scary. Mega Alakazam is not to be underestimated. I do prefer its non-Mega form, design-wise, and competitive wise, just for the Focus Sash ability. Well, not ability, because Focus Sash Magic Guard makes it so you can't get swept. So anyway, I'm going to hit this thing with a fake out here, and obviously this thing's definitely going to be able to outspeed me, because Bruce Lee is not the fastest Pokemon, as I'm going to go into Hugs and Tugs here, who is going to take a shot. Ball, not as nicely as I'd like it to. This is actually a defensive Ferrothorn, but this Ferrothorn is kind of the base of this team. So this team was just a bunch of Mons that I knew were good and I wanted to try out to get together, because I am building a new team which I in theory should be good, but a lot of times when I build a team in theory should be good, it turns out not to be so good, which I'm sure everybody has that problem. So anyway, I go for the Leech Seed, expecting a switch here. He's just staying with the Alakazam and hits me up with Psychic, which doesn't do too much damage, so he's going to draw here, and I'm going to use this time to set up Stealth Rocks cover. Pretty much he can't hurt me and I can't hurt him. So I'm going to get the Stealth Rocks up, and Stealth Rocks is going to cripple his team greatly, so thankfully that massive threat. Well, not massive threats, but a lot of his team's going to be good. His Aerodactyl's not going to like it, his Galvantula's not going to like it, etc, etc. So I'm going to go into my lockdown here, as he does predict the switch into the Blastoise, thinking the Fire Move is incoming, but I'm not going to go for that. If I'm unsure of my opponent's skill level, I'm always going to take what I call the neutral play. So he goes into this Gengar here, and this Gengar just was a tricky sort to deal with, as I go for the Sticky Web here, which is obviously going to do a lot of damage to this Pokemon. Sorry the recording cut off there, as I say, I am having some serious mic issues, I'm going to have to buy a new one. Anyway, I'm going to go into Hugs and Tugs here, who's going to take another Shadow Ball, not as nicely, that hurts. So at this point, seeing that damage, I thought this thing was Specs, but this Gengar certainly wasn't to be underestimated. So I go for the Protect here, thinking it's Spect, and yep, it confirms it's either Spect or Scarf, and at the point, definitely thinking Spect, because that amount of damage is nothing to underestimate. So he goes for the Shadow Ball here, I get hit up, and that is unfortunately Hugs and Tugs down and out for good, which is a shame, because Hugs and Tugs would have been quite useful to this team. So he does withdraw here, so I'm thinking, yes, he's definitely got to be Spec, because he wasn't going to be faster than me. So he goes into his Aerodactyl here, as I go for the Dark Pulse, and do a huge chunk of damage to this Aerodactyl with that critical hit. So thankfully this thing is taking a massive hit as it's switching to Whitebeard here, and he does end up going for the Rock Slide, which hurts Blastoise quite badly, but Whitebeard is the max defense Blastoise, which I do like using. I am going to switch up the movesets on this, because I've never had a use for Roar here. So he does switch out into his Aerodactyl. He just switches Aerodactyl, sorry, and he goes into the Galvantula, which just gets caught in the sticky web. It's quite nice to see Galvantula caught in the sticky web, because this thing is usually setting them all over the place. So anyway, I'm going to hit this thing up with a Scowl, and that does a nice chunk of damage here. So I'm going to keep that thing back as long as I can, as I get hit with a Giga Drain, where I was expecting him to over-predict here. But the Giga Drain is going to hurt like hell, and I completely forgot this thing could even carry Giga Drain, and I'm just praying for the burn at this point, but it's obviously not coming through, so that's not good for me. So this Spider is messing up my goddamn life. So I decided to switch up here and go into the Finger, because I thought, okay, the Finger can take any of these hits it goes. So it goes for the Thunder, so the good chunk goes up, just less than half, and of course I get paralyzed. I'm like, god damn it, that is not what I wanted to happen. So this Galvantula is just messing up my day, as I take a huge chunk of damage there and go, for the Flamethrower, finishing this thing off for good. So that is not good for me. That was a huge chunk of damage anyway. He goes into his Aerodactyl here, and that's going to die to the Stealth Rocks, which is a questionable play cover. I could have saved it round for Death Fodder, but I'm not complaining. That's another threat out of the way. He goes into his Infernape here, which is going to take neutral damage from those Stealth Rocks and get caught with the Sticky Webs. That's not too bad for me, and I wish he'd over-predict here, but he goes for the Mach Punch, which is unfortunate enough to finish off Clefable. Wish I'd put some more defensive investment in this thing, but meh, what are you going to do? So his Life Orb is going to start whittling down here, as I'm going to go straight for the Fake Out here. Good job he didn't bring in the Gengar, as the Fake Out is a good chunk of damage, and I'm definitely going to be able to outspeed give that Sticky Web and go straight for the Thunder Punch. And that is that Infernape out of the picture, which is just thank God for me. So he brings out his Alakazam here, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to outspeed this thing at this point, even with the speed drop. And I didn't want to take a risk, as it traces my Pure Power, which thankfully doesn't increase your special attack as well, because if that did, that would be terrifying. So I go in the lockdown here for the neutral play, as he does go for the Skill Swap, which is going to give me Pure Power and him Contrary, which is questionable. I was wondering what he'd expected me to switch into, that he could have nicked my ability. But Skill Swap's a pretty good idea on this thing, because if you get one good ability on Alakazam, it's going to mess it up. Like, you could trace Sturdy at the beginning of the game, it'd be quite useful or something like that. So he goes for the Sludge Bomb here, protecting the switch here, as I unfortunately get poisoned, and I'm not really going to take too much from this as I go for the infestation. So we're bringing to quite a stally part of the battle here, as I'm not wanting to switch and he's just going to keep hitting me up with the Sludge Bombs as the infestation's going to go for that. So basically, in this point of the video, I'm going to take this time to ask a question of the day, and within Halloween, what is your favourite ghost type Pokemon? For me, it's a really hard decision because I change my favourite Pokemon quite often. But if I had to go, I do quite like Mischievous, you know, the witch look, you know, it's just a floating witch's hat to me, so that's a pretty good one. But I do like Gourgeist as well. Gourgeist is a pretty cool Pokemon to go over. So it's between them two for me. It's quite hard, as I say, choosing your favourite Pokemon of a certain type is very hard to do. So he withdraws Gengar here, confirming that to me, that's expected. And he goes into his Talonflame, which is the ultimate counter for Mega Metachan. But I'm going to go straight for the Zen Headbutt, hit this thing up and kill it. So my opponent probably should have brought that thing in after the Gengar had died. That's what I would have done, because then I wouldn't have been able to do anything. But I'm just... God, as I say, this team was just full of threats. There's nothing but sweepers and threats on this team, so the Sticky Web was just doing wonders. As it does wonders there. It's the only time I'd be able to outspeed that Alakazam. So Thunder Punch is just wrecking through here, and I thought I'd be able to wreck his entire team through there, but in comes this Gengar, and it outspeeds, so it was scarfed. So that damage before on the Ferrothorn was just the pure power of Gengar, which is just terrifying to me. So he goes in a 40% Fluffy, and he's probably think he's got the game here because everything's quite damaged. So he goes for the Shadow Ball. I get a good huge chunk on my health, but I'm Focus Sashed, and I'm able to Dark Pulse and of course win the game. So thank you all for watching. Sorry for the mic troubles. I'm going to get a better mic soon. This is Spinner94 here. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope you all have a great day.